The next major event that we see taking place is the tribes of Gad and Reuven requesting land east of the Jordan River. Now the question is this a good thing or a bad thing? The Torah originally presents it to us, by the way, as Reuven and Gad, because Reuven is the older son of Yaakov, but from then on it's pretty much Gad and Reuven, because Gad is the more aggressive partner, let's say, in asking for these lands. They want land that we've already conquered, east of the Jordan River, right? The territories we took from Sichon and Og. Gad and Reuven want these as their tribal territory. And at first Moshe is very upset, because he sees it as like a rejection of the mitzvah to liberate the land, to cross the Jordan, come into Eretz Canaan. And also as, wait a minute, like he says, maybe this is also relevant to some of the things going on in Israeli society today. He asks, you're going to sit here while your brothers go to war? Meaning it's not fair. The land you want was conquered by all of Israel. And now you're going to get that and not participate in the liberation of the land west of the Jordan? So they come to a clarification. Right? They come to an accommodation. They come to some kind of... Basically, they say, no, we're going to go in the front. We're going to be the shock troops. And God was according to our sages, God was the best fighters in Israel. Most of our generals apparently came from God. They had a unique fighting style where they would take off the head and right arm of an enemy in one strike. Like God was known as like the warrior tribe. That doesn't mean that they always had the best understanding of the historical or moral or ideological ramifications of the wars they fought or the moves they made. Meaning sometimes a great general, a great military leader could decide the best thing to do is to retreat under these conditions. But that doesn't necessarily take into consideration the educational meaning of that retreat. How that impacts the nation, the morale, the worldview, etc. So, just as military leaders and as fighters, God is a very capable tribe. And they said they're going to go in the front, under the leadership of Yoshua ben Nun, of course. Reuven as well. Right? Reuven and God will take the lead. Moshe ultimately agrees that they're going to have this land east of the Jordan, but that the tribe of Menashe will straddle the Jordan, and basically half of the tribe of Menashe will also be on the east bank. So, and that will maintain a connection. The fact that you have a tribe who is on both sides of the Jordan will create some kind of connection between the tribes on this side and the tribes on that side. And this is, of course, going to... there will be some problems that arise from this. And we should also understand what's the difference here between being on... If we're going to say it's all Eretz Yisrael, right? Is it all the land of Israel? What's west of the Jordan, what's east of the Jordan? Essentially, yes. It's all part of the promised land that Avraham is told about. Right? But in Parshat Mas'ei, when the borders are defined, it doesn't include all that. Meaning the borders are much smaller in Parshat Mas'ei than in Parshat Lekh Lekha. So what's the difference? Why is the Torah giving us two different types of borders? There's Eretz Canaan, what we call Eretz Canaan, what we call Israel proper, the land between the river and the sea, between the Mediterranean and the Jordan. That is really the internal land of Israel. We're supposed to conquer that first. That is where we live, where we have the Beit HaMikdash, where we really create our society. Land beyond that, that's still part of the promised land, that's still part of the land that Avraham was told would belong to his descendants, might be what we can call an international zone under Israeli sovereignty. Meaning a place for us to engage with other nations where we're in control, where we rule, but where it's not just, for us to live. I mean, it's possible for other peoples to also live between the river and the sea under the right conditions. But we're talking about something a little bit different here. We're talking about like more of like an international zone or a diplomatic zone. That's one understanding, that the land beyond the borders presented to us in Parshat Mas'ei is actually a part of Eretz Yisrael and should be part of Malchut Yisrael, the kingdom of Israel, but as a place where we're kind of conducting international relations.